What screams, "I'm not a good person." Never accepting blame for anything. That didn't happen. And if it did, it wasn't that bad. And if it was, that's not a big deal. And if it is, that's not my fault. And if it was, I didn't mean it. And if I did, you deserved it. Disrespectful of people's personal property in their home. I know someone who had a coworker house sit for them and the person completely rearranged the house. Needless to say, no one likes the coworker anymore. Constantly telling people you are a good person. I had a friend confess to me that she fucked a dude I was crushing on while I was trying to make moves, approximately 2 years ago. Her now ex broke up with her and she keeps spouting, "But I'm a good person. But I'm a good person." Why does this happen to good people? Sorry to say, you're not. Laughing at, making fun of other people's interests and hobbies. I hate this. My favorite thing in the world is watching people's faces as they explain something they love. My coach at my gym has explained this one thing to me like 8 times, but I never stop him because I can see how much he loves coaching. When something makes someone happy, when it makes their whole face light up, it's wonderful, and anyone that tries to extinguish that is a garbage person. Edit. Thank you everyone for the kind and thoughtful and insightful comments. I promise I read them all. Be good to each other. I do this too. Even if someone has told me something 100 times, I often just let them tell me again for the pure joy on their face when they do. I used to get annoyed when my dad would repeat stories, like, "You just told me this last week." Then I learned to just enjoy listening to his stories no matter how many times he told the same one. He loved telling stories, and I realized that seeing him laugh when he repeated the same childhood memories that I heard 1,000 times before is what I should be enjoying, not the story itself. It's been almost 2 years now, and I still wish I could sit down and listen to him tell me that story for the 1,001st time. Edit. Thank you all dear Redditors for your thoughts. I still miss him every day, but life gets easier to live. One of his favorites, his dad served in World War II and came back with a Japanese rifle. He and one of his brothers decided they wanted to fire it. So they got it set up facing downrange into an empty field and fired off a round. But apparently the sights were off. It is his story after all, so instead of a clear path downrange, the bullet ended up hitting his mom's statue of Jesus in the garden and breaking off its hand. His mom didn't notice for several weeks, so they never got in trouble, but he suspected that his dad knew and just let them off the hook. Japanese rifles take an odd caliber projectile, so his dad probably noticed one round was missing. Being a dick to everyone else, then trying to excuse that behavior by saying, "I'm just brutally honest." Yeah, they're always upset that other people get triggered or offended by things they say, but then other people turn around and keep saying things that make them get pissed off or angry, as if these are completely different flavors of emotional reactions. Talking shit about mutual friends when they're not around. If they'll do that with your other friends, damn sure they're doing it with you too. Some people do this to everyone in the group. They act nice in private but throw each person under the bus in the group. It's a dick move because they deliberately built the expectation that they'd have your back around others, then they quickly turn it around and attack some harmless thing you said, as some middle school power move to prove that they aren't beholden to anyone. I always roll my eyes when adults act that way. Punching down, i.e. treating those below you badly, be that at work, service workers, children, etc., because you perceive yourself as higher status. Going through this right now. Our boss has told me before, when discussing the trivial errands she has us run for her, I'm not going to do those things. I have more important things to do. I work 60 hours a week, I'm busy. And when I tell you to do it, I expect you do it without asking questions. She waits until the last minute for everything, and last week she gave me a huge project with a really absurd turnaround time. I asked for help and asked if we could all take a little of the workload to help make sure it's done on time. Well, she got pissed because she said she gave me a task and I tried to give it back to her and said I disrespected her. Not shockingly, everyone else in the office came together to help, except her. She didn't lift a finger. Currently planning my escape because she's truly sucking the life out of me. I'm not big on punching up either. All it takes is a little mental gymnastics, and up can be anyone you want. Also, my own bias, but the people I've run into who are constantly talking about punching up and punching down tend to have really toxic social attitudes that they try to justify by having correct opinions. Just really tiring to deal with. Schrodinger's douchebag, judging whether or not what you just said was a joke depending on the reaction of people around you. Littering. Divorced from consequence. They don't associate the act with the negative result because they're not the one having to deal with it. They do associate doing the right thing with a negative consequence because then they have to expend effort for someone else's benefit. What do you mean I have to carry this rubbish with me until I see a bin? But the bin is all the way over there, and you're the one that cares about it, not me, consistently talking shit behind people's backs. Some dude who is always drunk in his early 40s worked at my job for a few months and he was telling me and my coworkers how he saw this guy's wallet on the ground who was in line in front of him, and after realizing it was his, he took it. Bragged about getting $300 because he's a dick and wouldn't return the guy's wallet. Taking any kind of criticism or conflicting opinion as a personal attack. No, battering everyone else's opinions into the ground and eventually personally attacking others and questioning their intelligence for disagreeing with you isn't healthy discourse. Edit. I got mentioned in a BuzzFeed article, I am famous lads. A lot of the time it just screams they're insecure. I've been reading a book on anger management for men and this bit you said was the biggest revelation for me. I've been angry my whole life and never understood why, and when I really took the time to reflect on my behavior and scenarios where I'm angry, this was the biggest takeaway. I struggle with being wrong and feel personally attacked when I am, and it's something I've been trying to be aware of and talk myself down from when I am wrong, and it all boils down to my own insecurities and lack of self-confidence. I've learned I'm an extremely insecure person and it's prevented me from having legitimate friendships because I alienate those around me when I can't accept being wrong. It's a work in progress and feels good to be making some improvement. The book has motivated me to perhaps see professional help if I don't make improvements on my own, which I've never wanted to do because of my newfound understanding of my insecurities. Sorry for dumping that on you, just felt good to type that out. Never paying debts, even small ones. If you borrow money, even $1, with the promise to pay back, do so. Hurting animals. I know this sounds manipulative and rude, but manipulative statement, shit like that. Mocking people for liking unpopular but harmless things. People who proudly state that they are assholes and have no intentions to change for anyone. The world doesn't revolve around you, quit being a dick. Making fun of other people's appearances, especially of things that aren't easily, immediately fixable and cost money to do so. Acne, crooked teeth, big noses and such. Edit. Wow, my first silver. Thank you so much. Edit 2, gold 2? You guys are awesome. Yes. If you feel it is necessary to point out someone's physical flaws, or don't care if it will hurt them, then you suck as a person. I don't understand why someone would really want to have an awkward moment of hurting someone's feelings like that. Then sometimes they'll say, what? I'm just being honest, like no shit dude, clearly you're not trying to have any kind of social filter. That doesn't mean it's okay. There's a lot of things we can say that are honest but still shouldn't be said without good context. Would you walk around telling people about your own back acne, or your hemorrhoids, or your fungus toenails for the sake of making an unnecessary, honest comment? I remember going to an amusement park when I was younger that also had a pool. I had a decent overbite that I was painfully aware and self-conscious of. I was walking around in the water and there was a group of 3 teenagers. One of them, a boy, said, "Hey, is your name Roger Rabbit?" I said no, and he said, "Are you sure?" I just nodded and continued on. I'm 37 and I still remember that, and it still hurts. Words can leave scars. Playing music audibly on public transport when others can hear. Not taking personal responsibility for your actions and purposefully withholding important information from someone for your own self-preservation or selfish reasons. Anyone who relies on a service and then demeans those who provide that service are complete garbage. Like, I can understand why you might not see a job at McDonald's as a great career, but if you want to be able to McEat your fucking McNuggets, you have to respect the people providing them. People will always blame everyone else for leaving them. Like, all my exes were crazy is probably not true. You probably did something to drive them off the edge. Not being introspective enough to realize you're the root of your problems is probably one. My first job was in retail, and I used to think the worst bottom of the pile people were the kind of PPL who would take a shitload of clothes from hangers and try them on and just leave a heap on the floor in the change room. Changing lanes without using your turn signals. Saw this in another thread, but those people who throw popcorn onto the floor when they see a movie theater employee to give them something to do. I try to be a good person, but I am probably failing and I don't even know it. Edit, holy shit, 1.1k upvotes, thank you so much. As a former movie theater employee, yep, people definitely do that. And those who do make sure to tell the crew waiting to clean the theater that they did, and that we should be thankful for it because without them being fucking disgusting assholes we wouldn't have a job. I actually really enjoyed my job at the theater, my coworkers were awesome and I got so much exercise running around on busy night. But it felt like at least 30% of our guests were pricks on a power trip one way or another.